Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA, and today's unboxing and first impressions video, we've got a package from Huckberry. Huckberry did send me the contents of this package for free, but all the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, and did not share this content with Huckberry to private publication. They will see this when you do. So you can tell from the title of this video what is inside this box. So I thought my wilderness survival hat was very fitting for my new wilderness survival hiking boots. So without further ado, let's crack this open. We'll see what we got inside, and then we'll talk a little bit about each pair of boots. We got us a pair of Huckberry Danner collab boots. Ooh, and we got us a pair of Lems. I have been looking for new hiking boots for some time. My hikers are on their way out. So of course, when I decided to look for hikers, I went to one of my favorite online retailers, Huckberry, and I started digging around, and the Lems were very interesting to me. I really liked this picture here. So I asked if I could check a pair out. They said yes, so here they are. So let's open this box up and see what they look like. Okay, I believe that is actually a sticker. Ooh, these are light. Wow. I figured they were light after seeing the product photos, but wow, that is light. So let's just do it right away. Oh wait, there's some cardboard inside. Take that out. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that bends. That bends nicely. That's the photo that kind of sealed the deal on these Lems for me. They're leather, all right. They look nice. They look very classy. I mean, it does not look like a hiker, but this is the Lems Boulder, and they're waterproof. They're flexible. They're very nice. The footbed feels very cushiony. I like what I'm seeing, and they also came with a pair of solid black laces, and they have these, like, I can't remember. I know what these laces are called, this style, and I can't remember the design, but they have those laces on them, and they also come with a second set of plain black laces. All right, let's take a look at the Danners real quick, and then we'll do a spec rundown of each of these boots. Ooh, they are nice. Ooh, we got them tangled up here. So we have two sets of laces. We have our standard brown boot laces, and then we have some of the similar style flat lace. So this is the Huckberry Danner collab, also considered a hiker. It does have a little bit more aggressive Vibram sole on it than the Lems, but these are quite nice. Ooh, yeah, I like that sole. I like that diamond pattern on that sole. And it's like flecked pattern midsole. That's pretty cool right there. All right, let's hit a spec rundown of each of these boots, and then we'll eyeball each of them individually a little bit more. The Lems Boulder waterproof hiking boot come in at $175 USD. They are available in umber, which is the color I chose, and they are also available in shadow. These are a zero drop boot designed by Lems in Boulder, Colorado. The uppers are a 1.8 millimeter full grain oiled leather, and the liner is a full grain leather and moisture wicking membrane. They feature a 9 millimeter Lems rubber air injected outsole. They feature a heel tab for easy on and off, and only come in at 12.9 ounces. The Huckberry Danner Logger Mach 917 comes in at $260 USD. This is the Gold Rush color that is an exclusive color to Huckberry. They are a full grain leather and suede upper with a ortho light footbed. The midsole is a Vibram SPE, where the outsole is a Vibram XS Trekker, and these are made in Vietnam. They feature a waterproof breathable Gore-Tex liner and a stitch down construction, and these are also eligible for the Danner recrafting services that includes parts replacements, leather care, and restitching. Now we're going to start with the Lems. Now these are a size 9.5. My normal shoe size is a size 9. They do recommend that you upsize a half a size, so I did just that, and they do fit good in the length. They do feel a little bit wide in the toe box, but I am also wearing a pretty thin sock right now, not something that I would normally hike in. So once I put a little bit thicker sock on, I think they're gonna feel pretty good. I didn't experience any heel slippage and they didn't feel uncomfortable to wear, but just a point of note, they did feel a little bit wide to me. I generally wear a 9D or a 9 single E depending upon the boot brand and boot style. But again, I am wearing a thin sock, so I won't wear that hiking. I will wear a little bit heavier sock when I go hiking, which will take up a little bit of that space. But the length feels good, so sizing up that 9.5, that's good. I think I probably would have been okay with a 9. I don't think my toe would have been touching the front. It's only like, I think the size difference is like 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch for every half size. It's not as drastic as most people think a half size would be. But they are okay to just trying them on. I didn't walk around in them too much, just put them on my feet, but they do feel very comfortable. I really, really like this look. This does not look like a hiker, at least a modern hiker boot. A modern hiker, most people think of like Morels or like trail runners, things of that nature. They don't think of something like this, which is one of the reasons I also got the Danners. Is I was looking at the Danner Mountain Lights, which don't look like a modern hiker, but are like a amazing hiker, but also a like $400 boot. So in my search, I came across the Lems, and that one picture where it shows it like rolled up in half, I was like, whew, that looks like it has some good flexibility to it. But I really like this silhouette. I like that it doesn't look like a standard hiker. Now, I do hike in like some old running shoes and stuff in the summer if we're not doing any difficult trails, if we're just doing like some of the trails that we do often that I know are relatively flat and there's not much terrain. I'll just throw on a pair of old runners that I would generally use as like my trail runner shoes. But my actual hikers are on their last leg. They're falling apart. Water is rushing into them. I just wore them last weekend and my feet were soaked. Really wish I jumped on the boot bandwagon a little bit sooner and asked for these a week earlier, because these would have been very helpful last week. It's been very warm here, even though it's only February. We had a couple high 50 degree days, so all of the snow that even we had in the higher elevations is melting, and all of the hiking trails are just sloppy messes. So later today, it's a Sunday, we're gonna go hiking. These are going to be on my feet, and hopefully my feet stay nice and dry. But yeah, I'm really digging this silhouette. I really like this non-modern looking hiking boot. To me, this looks more like a casual boot that you would wear out, but it is in fact a hiker. It's got a decent tread on it. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues in the tread. I do like that it's not a thick lug sole, because again, it is sloppy and wet and muddy out there. I'm not going to be tracking all of that extra crap and all the mud that even though you bang your shoes off when you get done hiking, you get in the car, you drive home, they're still wet, and then you're dragging all that stuff in the house. Even though I kick off my shoes in the mudroom, I don't need to make the mudroom a muddy mess, even though that's kind of what it's there for, but the muddier it gets, the more I gotta clean it. So I like that this has a little bit more mellow of a sole to it, so I'm not necessarily going to track all of that extra junk and gunk from the woods into the house when I get home. There's gonna be enough of that from the dog's paws all over the house anyway, so a little less from me is definitely a good thing. But it looks really nice. It smells good. It smells actually like the old boot department that I used to work in when I sold boots at the Army Navy store. When you walked over there, you could just smell all of the leather from the boots, and that's what this smells like. It's kind of taking me back 15-20 years in time to much simpler time when, you know, you didn't have bills, you didn't have mortgage, you didn't have to worry about health insurance and all those fun things that you do as an adult. But so far, really liking this boot. It's gonna get put into rotation in a couple hours today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Huckberry Danner Logger Mach 917 collab boot. Now these are a size 8.5, and that's simply they were out of stock in the 9s when I asked for these. So these are actually a little bit smaller than I would normally wear of size 9, but again, it's only like 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch difference in length for size difference, and my toe is still not touching the front of the toe box. Now I did notice that these are not as wide as the Lems. These are a little bit more narrow. I can feel them kind of hugging my foot. I don't want to say they're too tight, but they are definitely noticeably snugger and more narrow than the Lems, but they still feel fine. I am wearing, again, that same thinner sock, but these I don't actually intend on hiking in, at least not right away. This is gonna be more of a casual boot for me, even though this is like a dual purpose boot. I like the look of this. I feel like this is gonna fit in okay in the office for these wet, messy spring months, especially if we're gonna be doing some more shoots on location and we're potentially going to be dealing with weather while I'm out in these shoots, either loading, unloading van, loading, unloading products, stuff like that. So I'm gonna be getting caught in some crappy weather coming up in the spring months here. So these are gonna come in handy for me to wear casually to work and out and about. Now, one thing I really like with these is they are a top-down stitch construction. If you can see the stitching, there's a bit of a flange here, that's the leather. So essentially what a stitch down construction boot is the leather comes down and it flanges out and it stitches directly through the upper leather into the midsole of the boot, and then the outsole of the boot is attached to the midsole of the boot. It's either glued on or sewn on. This is glued on. You can see there's no threads going through. So it does make replacing this sole, it's still possible. You can still replace the sole. Most people think of Goodyear welting being like the only sole that you can replace when you're making a boot, but that's not entirely true. You can also resole stitch down construction. Goodyear welted is just a more common used method to put the sole on the boot, and it's a little bit different where the top there's a flange, or there's not a flange, it goes to the rib, it's sewn onto the rib, and then the welt and everything's sewn together. So the overall construction is completely different, but both a Goodyear welted and a top-down stitch can be resoled, and you can actually send these back to Danner to be resoled because they do have their recrafting, which they'll essentially peel this sole off and glue a whole new one back onto you. So I like the top-down stitch construction. It is resolable. I can fix these over time. And I like the mock toe. In my youth, I was not a fan of mock toe boots. I had one pair way back when, and I didn't like them. I don't know why. It was just something about the look. I don't have, like, the way they function or anything. There's nothing wrong with it. It was always the way. I always felt like they were for old men, and maybe now because I'm in my 40s, I'm an old man, I like a mock toe shoe. So that's kind of why I was looking. Another reason I looked at the Lems and then the Logger Mock 917s, because the mock toe, I like the way it looks now. I used to hate it in my youth. Now that I'm a grumpy old man, I do like it. And this is honestly my first pair of Danners ever. The store I used to work at, we did not sell Danners. There was only one other store in the city that sold Danners, and they didn't like us because we had a contract with a large clothing manufacturer that they could not get because we had already had it. We were there first, and they didn't sell to, they had a radius where they wouldn't sell. So this guy had been trying and trying and trying to sell said brand, and he could not because we did. So he hated us, and he knew who we were. So if I walked in the store, he'd just tell us to leave, or he was an old man, he'd kick us out. So I was never able to get a pair or try on a pair of Danner boots because there was only one store in the city that sold Danners, and I technically wasn't allowed in there because I worked at a competing store. So I never had a pair of Danners, and now I finally do. I got myself a pair of Danners. I like the overall look of this boot too. It's a hybrid, so this could be a casual boot, this could be a hiking boot. It does have Gore-Tex, so it's gonna keep me dry if I do take this in the woods eventually, but I like this as a casual boot. This is gonna be my out and about. I'll probably start wearing this to work tomorrow to test it in, to kind of start breaking them in, see how they feel. And I got a couple of shoots coming up. It's also supposed to get a nor'easter here in the next couple days and get like 6 to 8 inches of snow. So maybe I'll end up out in the snow with my Danners on, or my Lems, as opposed to wearing, I've been just shoveling in either my double H's or my Chippewas, which neither of those are waterproof, so then they just get soaked, and eventually, if I'm out there long enough, my feet get soaked. So now I can throw on a pair of waterproof boots and not have that problem. So I'm very excited to check out both the Lems Boulder and the Huckberry Danner Logger Mach 917 collab boot. And I'm gonna end up using them for 2 different scenarios. So I will give my Boulders a chance out in the woods a little bit later today, and I will throw my Huckberry Danner Mach collabs on tomorrow when I head off to work. And maybe on Tuesday, shoveling off some snow if the weatherman's correct and we get a couple inches coming our way. So stay tuned for 2 full real user reviews of both the Huckberry Danner Logger Mach 917 collab and the Lems Boulder hiking boot. Both will be coming to a screen near you very soon. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications the next time I post a brand new video. Good night.